females. This episode was actually supposed to be uploaded around Thanksgiving, so I'm sorry if you're seeing this in the middle of March, but hey, had to bring it. This case would be about the case of Omaima Nelson. So Omaima was basically like the Thanksgiving murder involving Omaima Nelson, and so this one's kind of a big one. So let's go ahead and get started. And so Omaima Nelson was born in Egypt in 1968. We don't know the exact date because I don't know if they didn't keep the date or it just happened that long ago, but we just know 1968 for sure. And so her father had apparently beat and violated her to the point to where she was 7, and she had her genitals manipulated with. So basically the top part of her, the female private part was cut off, would be meaning sex, self-pleasure, would be uncomfortable and unbearable, and apparently, unfortunately, that was a common thing back to do. That wasn't just them. Apparently, it's still being done today. And so, it's basically like female circumcision. Apparently. That's what they call it. And apparently, it's still being done today, even though it shouldn't be, but it still is. And so, basically, the goal was to, make sex uncomfortable and unbearable. So I guess the temptation to have sex would not be there. And so despite it being outlawed later on, because it was legal when she had it done to her, but it ended up becoming illegal later on, it's still actually common in Egypt. So the purpose was to prevent premarital sex, but that didn't work anyway. I guess she went and was promiscuous and had premarital sex anyway.
Gotcha, bitch!
And so when she hit her teen years, her parents got divorced. So she left with her mother to a city literally named City of the Dead in Cairo.
Bitch, I know you fucking lied. I know you fucking lied. Because, oh my God, so...
it was given its name because the city is surrounded by graveyards, and Omaima had allegedly used sex as a way to live despite the pain she had suffered during the surgery she had when she was younger. And so when she turned 18, she was legal. Her mom said, hey, you gotta marry this American guy. I don't know if she had to marry him, but apparently there were some Americans over in Egypt working on something. And so, marry one of them because no one else will love you because she had premarital sex. Because this is over in a culture where if you've had sex outside of marriage, you're basically worthless. So she went ahead, somehow got hitched with him. They go back to Texas. She takes the gigs as a nanny and a model, which is why she's known as a model, because, that was kind of like a little side hustle or whatever. She obviously gets divorced later on because it doesn't work out with him. She then goes on and dates a bunch of rich men who took advantage of her and were abusive. Despite this, she still works the best she could, despite not knowing a lot of English, because it wasn't like she had any family or friends there, so she kind of had to rely on these men. I don't know how she got them knowing that she couldn't speak English, but I guess her beauty was it, because she was pretty pretty. One of the said men that survived her, I guess, they claimed that she had pulled out a gun on him. We don't even know the name. I guess they were embarrassed and didn't want to be named. And so after the divorce, she moves to Orange County, California at the age of 23. After moving, she then moves to Costa Mesa, and Omaima would get men into these situations, bound them up to seem sexual, sexual bondage, and then rob them at knife point. And then her victims were obviously embarrassed because a woman managed to rob them. So there are probably some victims out there that we don't know about that never said anything because they were embarrassed that they just got robbed by a woman. And so fast forward, Omaima ends up meeting Bill in the fall of 1991. The age gap between the two was so huge that Bill had children that were actually older than Omaima.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Despite having almost nothing in common, Omaima wanted to marry Bill because of how much money he had. Because, he's always showing off. So if he's always showing off, he must have money, right? And so, a little backstory about Bill. Bill apparently went to jail for 4 years prior to meeting her back when he was a pilot because he was smuggling marijuana on a plane.
I'm Mary Jane.
That is my favorite name.
Really?
Yeah.
Omaima's record wasn't clear either. She was actually caught stealing, and instead of surrendering on the spot, she got into a little altercation with the female security guards. Because I don't know where the male security guards were at, but the females were we got her. And so she almost managed to take off one of the boobs of one of the officers.
How, Sway? Take a few.
And then the other one, she punched the other one in the vagina.
Damn!
And we never hear anything about that incident again, somehow. And so then Omaima was still hanging out with Bill and occasionally his friends. And then one day, apparently they went horseback riding, and then Omaima fell straight off. The people that she was with wanted to have her taken to the hospital because, I guess it seemed like a pretty hard fall from what it sounds like. And so she insisted that she didn't need it and that they liked her because of that. Apparently she needed some vodka and some sort of medicine, and she would have been straight okay. And so Bill and Omaima actually end up marrying less than a month after they meet.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Less than a month. The wedding, I don't know how, but somehow the wedding was done over the phone. And the priest somehow left out the fact that Bill was still legally married to his future ex-wife, therefore making Omaima and Bill's marriage illegitimate. And so, fast forward to, I guess, November 28th, 1991, Omaima ties Bill's up during sex and asks him for more money. I guess he thought it was a joke. She obviously was not joking. She knocks him out with a lamp. She goes and gets scissors. She stabs him 25 times, which is believed to be his cause of death. She then grabs an iron, which breaks, because she beats him with the iron. So imagine how hard you gotta break an iron. Imagine how hard you beat somebody with that. So then after Bill is dead, Omaima starts dismembering Bill's body. She then claims to get dressed up in red, red lipstick, red dress, I think even red shoes, and prepares his body for a feast, because, it's Thanksgiving. She hung up his torso with coat hangers to let the blood dry out. She spent the next 2 days disposing of the body. A neighbor claims they heard the garbage disposal running all that weekend. On day 3, she goes to a ex-house named Jose, literally Jose. I think public records were just showing it as Jose, and asked him to help her get rid of Bill's teeth, and other sources saying help her get rid of the body in general. And so she offers him $75,000 and 2 motorcycles, which we believe those were Bill's motorcycles, because there ain't no way in hell she had 2 motorcycles. And so he tells her to go back to her place and he'll get his truck to obviously help prepare the body, get rid of the body. And so, like any decent person, that obviously was not true. He waits till she leaves. He calls the police immediately after she left.
Gotcha, bitch!
So the police apparently find Omaima in her car and ask if she's okay. That's when they notice a bag and ask what's inside. They then check said bag, and it's full of entails and intestines.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Which is obviously Bill's. At first, she lies and says that Bill was on vacation and not to worry, which later changed the story. The bags were of results as Bill. The body that's in this bag is somebody that Bill killed, not Bill himself, which obviously we know is BS, but that's what she's telling police at this point. And so y'all brace yourselves for this one. His hip area was found with food you would expect for a Thanksgiving meal because at this point in the story, it is December 1st. So it is December 1st. So they were finding food that you would expect during a Thanksgiving meal. And so his hands were found in the fryer, and his head was found in a freezer wrapper in tinfoil next to the vegetables. And so his head was put in the freezer because she thought it'd be easier to remove his teeth that way, which easier. I feel like freezing his head would make it harder because that would make the teeth harder. I could be wrong because it's after death. I could be wrong, but I guess that was just her thought process. And so garbage bags that were filled with liquids and flesh were put into luggages. There was blood obviously everywhere in the bedroom. Despite her claiming to be held hostage, evidence shows that Bill's injuries seemed to be more consistent with someone who was bound and not her. Somehow at least 100 pounds of Bill is still missing to this day. They still don't know what happened to it. According to a report, Omaima asked to be sent to the gas chamber. I don't know, I guess because she felt guilty for what she did. Omaima apparently bragged to a psychiatrist about consuming some of Bill's body with barbecue sauce and that the ribs were the best part, which is why she's kind of known as a cannibal, which we don't even know if that's even true, because the only person that claimed that that's even happened was the psychiatrists themselves, and that could just came out their ass.
Watch your profanity.
That could have been something they heard from another case and claimed she said that. And then Omaima apparently took that statement back for good reason, but at that point it was too late. She'd even tried to claim that ancient women from Egypt came to her in a dream to kill Bill. A rape kit was done on her because she did claim that she was raped, and which came back negative. She admitted that she dismembered his body in an attempt that he couldn't be identified, and said that she wouldn't see him in the afterlife, because had she not dismembered him, it was under, like, because this woman came from Egypt, keep in mind. So apparently in her culture, it was believed that had the body not been chopped up, she would have saw him in the afterlife, and somehow he probably would have been able to do stuff to her in the afterlife that he did when they were both alive. That's what I got out of that. I don't know. I could be wrong. And so she even cut off his penis, which is also known as castration, because that was used to hurt her allegedly, which if she was raped, I could see that, because a lot of rape victims, some people do be cutting off penises. It's even said that on their wedding day, which again was less than a month after they met, he threatened to kill her and dispose of her body somewhere, which we don't even know if that's true.
I will send you to Jesus.
It was also revealed that days prior to the murder, Bill had received $30,000 from a divorce settlement from his first wife, and that was believed to be a motive for the murder, because that was $30,000.
Coincidence? I think not.
She was with him for the money, bro. I mean, 30,000, that's 30 bands, that's a lot, bro. And so, in 1993, she was convicted of second-degree murder. She was also charged with assault with a deadly weapon, false imprisonment, and armed robbery when she tried to rob an ex named Robert Hansen, which pretty sure no relation to Chris Hansen, but could be wrong. She was ended up being sentenced to 27 years to life. Omaima somehow got married to a man that she knew at the time of Bill's death, like while in prison.
How, Sway? Take a few.
And so the man was actually in his 70s, and he later died, obviously, because he was in his 70s back in 93, and it's about to be, 30 years later? My dude would either be hella old or dead. So yeah, he ended up dying later on, and he basically he had ex-wives and children, apparently, but he somehow, I don't know what Omaima did, but somehow he left everything to her. But she got everything. And my dude had a bunch of money. So if she ever gets out, she basically has legal access to all that money. If she were to ever get out. And so obviously in 2011, she was at the parole board and was denied.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
At her last hearing, she said that she looked for love in the wrong places and wants to help people. As far as we know, she has failed to complete classes and isn't following prison rules. And so she isn't eligible for parole again until 2026, which is 4 years away. So if she ever gets out, she's going to be having bank because of that dude that she done married in his little 70s. I know his family's pissed that they didn't get nothing. Even if they didn't want the money, they'd be pissed because of some random woman that's in jail. She got everything. We don't even get a little cut. But anyway, that's the case of Omaima Nelson. Yeah, so that one was pretty crazy. Like I said. So yeah. So I guess that was it. And I will see you fatal females next time. Bye.